Jared said that he has a great story to open this podcast
because
up with, but I don't want him to do that. So
we can talk about my sauna sweaty balls that I have right now. So they told me the wrong time for the podcast. And so I'm sitting in my sauna and I just ran right in and put a towel in my chair. It's good.
No, it's a me story. You guys are going to go, how on earth does this happen to you?
Like a Me Too story?
No. I was flying home from San Diego last week and I'm in my connecting flight, which I think was in Phoenix. So I was sitting at like a restaurant thing that faced like the walkway in the airport where, you know, it was kind of on the outskirts. And I had my Black Rifle, black camo hat that has the yellow Black Rifle coffee logo that you designed, Evan, that you really like that one. Yeah.
You're welcome.
And
you're welcome for my service.
And this guy walks by and he has the same hat that I'm wearing on. And we like nod, and then he comes over and he goes, "Oh my God, it's you." And he shakes my hand and he hands me his business card, and he is the president of Nobles Worldwide, which is the company that makes the feed chutes for 20 millimeter Vulcan cannons.
Oh, you don't say.
So 2 weeks ago, I just secure our dummy 20 millimeter Vulcan cannon to re-put back on the Prius, but we don't have feed chutes. And the president of the company that designs the feed chutes finds me in an airport. And it's like, yeah, we'll send you those feed chutes.
That's so serendipitous. The universe wants this to happen.
Yeah.
Wow. That's funny.
He was like, and he talks about how in the company, like the Prius is like they love it. Like they celebrate it because, you know,
seriously?
They make parts. Yeah. His whole factory just does nothing but make parts for all the big chain guns, all the big cannons, the M61 Alpha 1, the M61 Alpha 2,
everybody
the Gal
knows what
8.
that is.
Like
Everybody
all
knows.
your 20 millimeter, 30 millimeter, all those cannons, they're making all the components for them. So they're like, dude, when you guys release the Prius, like, we're like, oh my God, like there's our stuff that we do on a Prius. So it was a pretty funny conversation. The fact that I met the president of...
You could actually just change that story to make it better, is that you met the president. Just leave the rest of it off.
And he just smelled me.
You know, he just smelled you.
He smelled me and then commented on an 11-year-old girl sitting, off in the restaurant behind me.
Hey, did you guys have a nice long weekend?
Hey, have a happy long weekend, everybody, huh? Right?
Dude, you know
it's fucking disgusting. Fucking disgusting.
But they're doing it on purpose.
I know. That's why it's even worse.
This.
Fucking Jared, I know.
Like they're trying to make us all seem crazy. Like crazy wingnuts.
Because
you celebrate fucking generations of sacrifice that built the freedoms that we enjoy every day in this nation.
They say things like that, so all of our side pages light up with the quotes of how dare they. And all it is setting the stage to show a pattern of behavior of us being crazy and angry.
Yeah, but what, at the disgrace of fucking dead service men and women?
They don't care about that.
I know.
They don't care.
So that's my opinion.
Kamala Harris doesn't give a shit about anything other than power and riches.
Incarceration for long periods of time. Like minority incarceration for long periods of time. For like minor drug offenses.
For marijuana
She doesn't care about that.
And then we talk about legalizing marijuana. And then we're like, hey, what are you guys going to do with all those people you locked up for marijuana?
We're going to go quiet on comms for about 2 months. That's what they typically do. They just don't say anything. They just
true.
Shit, yeah.
But seriously, legalized weed at least, man. You know?
Dude, I was thinking about this a lot over the weekend, and like there was the amount of outrage that existed on our social media accounts because of the fact that she said this was like astronomical. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. Like there's gotta be a solution in here. Like, because we need people who aren't veterans to like understand why we're so upset. So we can come together as a nation. And like, I spent a lot of time in Europe on the World War II battlegrounds when I was going to school. And Europe handles it a very unique, well way. And they use it through the symbology of a poppy. Back in World War I, after one of the main battles, I can't remember specifically what it was, but a bunch of red poppy flowers popped up all around the field. And so the poppy is the symbol of Memorial Day for a lot of Europe. And I was thinking about it, it's like, we really don't have this as a nation, this symbol that, represents this day that you can say, okay, this is like my, like the sticker, like I voted sticker, like I'm acknowledging the fact that all these men sacrificed their lives for our country. Like we really don't have that as a nation. And I think we should have something like that we can wear on this day, or we can use this as a symbol of memorial.
You know what I like to do is drink Black Rifle coffee. The strongest.
Worst segue ever. God. We probably should go down the rabbit hole because I was lit this weekend. I almost made a couple posts that I probably shouldn't have. But
we were going down really bad Memorial Day jokes. Like I came up with the VA's new slogan. It's called, "If we don't kill you, you'll do it for us."
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's really good. No, I think Logan's right.
Veterans Affairs.
I think you're onto something, because I think if we had something, right? So to your point, like a sticker or a pin,
a symbol,
some type of symbol, then you can all kind of recognize like the sacrifice.
Think about it from a young person's perspective. Like all the kids in those countries are like, they're going to be asking their parents, like, why is everybody wearing a red flower today? And so their parents are going to have to talk to them about why that exists. And then, so they're going to grow up with this mindset of like, oh, all these people sacrifice themselves so we could exist in the world we do today. It's going to be interesting, right, Logan? Yeah.
Because there's red. There's like, remember everyone deployed, like a red shirt that caught wind and stuff like that. But there really isn't some form of like symbolism for it. It'd be dope to create that and try to get a movement behind it.
And then
that's
what I mean.
Donate all the money from the pins or whatever it was to Gold Star Children shit.
We should put some mindset into that and think about what that could be for us, and going back into our history of generations upon generations.
Enjoy the long weekend.
Sacrificed. Yeah. That's just bust out enjoy your long weekend bumper stickers. Make sure those are on your car this weekend.
Yeah.
Well, what would it be? What would you guys, what are some suggestions for symbols? I'm trying to think of some things that have been historically representative.
People do some ribbons, right? I mean, like
the yellow ribbon kind of became that thing, but
a little bit.
But about the yellow ribbon. A gold star.
There's not enough symbology. Symbolism.
I know.
Symbolism.
Well, there's a certain flag with the stars on it for service, but then some people use those as far as people that have passed. Am I incorrect in that? I know I've seen people do that. I don't know if that's the true meaning of it.
I think there's a
like a flag
gold star code. Yeah, there's different
there's a gold
flags
star, but there's the white stars are for service. Excuse me if I'm misrepresenting that, but I know because
there's a key.
My mom had one with 3 on there for her 3 boys and shit.
Yeah.
So,
one of our listeners is going to be like, it should be this, dummies, and here's why.
I know. Well, no, honestly, listeners, give us an opinion. This should come from the community if that's something, not just from us, man.
Yeah, chime in. Tell us what you guys think on what do you think the actual symbol that I think unites everybody.
Memorial Day symbol.
Yeah, Memorial Day symbol. It's funny because you have a bunch of people that put signs in their yard about all their political opinions, but yesterday I saw very few flags represented. I thought it was interesting. I walked through my neighborhood, and there was a few flags here and there, but there's definitely not a lack of a lot of signs out there. That, have you guys seen that one where it's like, love is real, science is real, or whatever, and it's like a list of bullshit, right? And it's all in like multicolor.
And these movements mean something, and I see it.
Yeah, it's just like. Yeah, it's so ridiculous because
it's a Pinterest comment to put on your porch to say, "Look at me! Look how freaking look or whatever. Like, look at me! I'm such a good person. Like, I don't have to do anything. I can just put a fucking sign up." That's the problem with half the American culture these days. They want to fucking say all this dumb shit and do fucking nothing.
Well, they don't want to do any research. No, they don't want to do any research whatsoever.
They don't want to learn anything.
It's like a sign of the ultimate hypocrisy across the board. So whether or not you're, I don't know. I've seen it from a lot of conservatives and liberals both, right? It's just like this massive, hysteria of their conservative values that are represented or their liberal values that are represented. And it's like, being a hypocrite is being human, right? We were talking about this. Like everybody is a hypocrite regardless.
Of course.
Just like how much you can reduce it is kind of, I think the more transparent and honest a person can be. You just kind of really reduce the hypocrisy, or at least admit when you've done wrong. But it's so interesting to me because it's like that, love, love is equality or something like that, or love is love. That's what it is. Love is love. It's like, yeah, nobody's disputing that. Most conservatives are like, that I know, they just want less government. So they're like, yeah, marry who you want, man. Like, who gives a shit? Have fun. Fuck
yeah.
And marry who you want. Like, this
Suck
is
some
America.
Dicks and own an AR-15,
Yeah.
bro. I'm going to make that shirt.
Like,
Sucking dicks, shooting ARs, bro. Do you?
Nobody's disputing that. And then it's like, science is real. And then that's the same person.
Shit.
And then it's the same person that's wearing a triple mask on a hiking trail by themselves in the middle of nowhere. They're like triple masked up. They're like, oh my God, I could get fucking COVID from the moose. It's like, or
triple COVID from a moose. You got moose COVID.
They got moose COVID or that.
Yeah, but
the
the
same
thing
guys
is
are wearing
like
triple masks in parks. Like it's still going on. We were just having this conversation. It's still going on. The vaccination has been out there. I'm not fucking around. I drove by the park yesterday. People are walking their dogs
in masks.
No, in like triple masks, man.
God.
It's fucking nuts. Now it's just like, okay, you can't even level set with people. Like that's the problem, I think, with the information that everybody is putting out, because one person, whether it's, the head of whatever council or the Iron Council on American Information or who the fuck is talking, they're just like, they're hypocrites. They're putting out a bunch of different information. Nobody fucking knows what's going on. So then when they do their own research, they're like, oh, wait, you mean this fucking knitted cloth that I have on my face
doesn't do anything? Protect me?
And then the rest of us are just supposed to buy into this horse shit and be like, oh my God, we got to be the guys that pretend that triple masks work in the middle of the fucking park because the moose might give it to us. It's just fucking, we have to dumb ourselves down to be part of this entire shit show. Like,
you can tell
a bunch of bullshit.
Well, you can tell you're in Utah, Evan.
The thing is,
you go through like, what I spent a couple of days in Utah before coming back to Texas, and it's still like just the same way it was 8 months ago. And then you come back to Texas and everybody was like, fuck this. Like nobody in Texas wearing masks anymore. You're like, it's not required
Texas,
going anywhere.
I think does it right. There's certainly certain private owned businesses that I've been in that are like, hey, we actually require masks. I leave the establishment or I put a fucking mask on. No worries, right? But it's like no one's fucking telling me from the government to wear a fucking mask. And if I'm walking through like HEB and I see someone with a mask, I'm not like, look at this fucking loser. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe they're just worried about some shit. Whatever, do you? I don't give a fuck. But like, it's just like, why is everybody so fucking heated on this shit?
Because people don't understand that, like, okay, well, let's take this statement that you just made. Science is real. Yes. Science is real when it's
unless you're talking about when
it's convenient
or
when it's convenient for our message or for our movement. Like a scientist told everybody that the Challenger space shuttle was going to explode if they launched it, and the fucking director's answer was, well, we've already rescheduled it a lot. We have all these people coming. We need to do this. We supposedly had WMDs in Iraq, that we never fucking found. Like LSD and acid supposedly eats your fucking brainstem. We told that to everybody for about 25, 30 years in the United States. That's not true.
But that's the perfect example of this fucking weekend is like this narrative of like, for me, it's like Memorial Day doesn't mean anything. And I'm like, get fucked. I think it's the fucking most important day and weekend in American culture. It is the fucking day that we memorialize and are thankful for the people that have died for our very freedoms that we enjoy today. And it's like, let us have one fucking day. And then they have to make patriotism political. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? You can have your beliefs, you can believe in your policies, but at the end of the day, be a fucking American. And that's the most like frustrating fucking pissed off I can get is when I read these motherfuckers just like ignoring it. And then they try to commercialize. I'm like, let us have one fucking day to celebrate what this country's built on. And that is sacrifice. But no, Everybody wants to like get their
country is built on consumerism, Matt.
off at their fucking favorite linen store.
And get a mattress this weekend.
Valentine's Day, Christmas, Black Friday, day after Christmas. Everything.
But those are fine, right? Those are like celebratory family.
Everything is consumerism. That's the whole thing. How do I trick idiots into just buying everything? Like, and that's their goal. That's they want to keep us essentially addicted to shopping. That's how this works. You need a new iPhone.
Shit.
You know, need a new.
Once in a while.
There's a new iPhone 12.4 out.
Are you serious?
No.
Oh man, 12.4 is out.
Oh, dude.
Shit! I gotta get to the store.
I gotta go.
Dude, the new iPhone, it has a dick camera, so you can take face and dick selfies at the same time.
7 cameras.
It's so the lens is super wide. It's like this. It's like. Here's one. So have you guys seen the new Army commercial?
Oh my God! Yes,
I haven't watched it. Is it bad? I've seen
they disabled comments on YouTube. That's how bad it was. The Army could not face criticism.
Oh, wow.
There was like 66,000 dislikes on the thing.
Oh,
wow.
Dude.
Are you serious?
Hey, synopsize it for me.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
It's about a female soldier.
Is it the cartoon thing, right?
Go for it, Evan.
Yeah. Okay, so first of all, I have no problem with anyone who wants to serve, anybody who wants to serve. Like, I have zero problem with this. And I have zero problem with how the U.S. Army goes about recruiting people. Zero problem with that. So the problems I have exist in this recruiting commercial is the taxpayer dollar and the actual person that this might be speaking to, or the people. So kind of opens up, and I watched it with an open mind. I'm like, I don't give a shit. I honestly don't. Like, I think that, one, the U.S. military is actually it's over diverse representative to the U.S. population. So it has, except for female male ratio, but as far as like the mix of, Caucasian, African American, Hispanics, and things like that, it's actually it's overrepresented. Which I think is one of the things that makes the military great, by the way, because I think it's fucking really cool that a guy from Idaho like myself can go to Georgia.
I agree.
And like, now you're around dudes that grew up in like Detroit and, fucking Alabama and all these different places. And you're like, oh, fuck, there's a bunch of people just like me. It's relevant where they actually come from. I think that's one of the fucking coolest things about the military is that forcing function of the real melting pot where you're forced to rely on each other regardless of your skin color. And you really do start to understand how the, and when I say this, I'll probably fuck it up, but a person should be represented by their catalog of work, not necessarily their skin. I'm reducing what Martin Luther King said, but it's the same thing, right? So you learn how to rely on one another. I think it's one of the last true melting pots in the United States. I think that we should be trying to diversify the military. I'm 110% on board. But like, when you take taxpayer dollars and you make a steaming pile of woke horse shit like the U.S. Army did, you should suffer the consequences. So it's like, it was this cartoon about a female that joined the military, and she's like, I grew up just like everybody else, but I grew up with 2 moms. Don't have a fucking problem with this. Zero problem.
What does that have to do with anything?
That's what I'm just gonna say.
What does that have to do with anything?
What the fuck, man?
But what? Yeah, exactly. That's my point. But what the fuck does growing up with 2 moms have anything to do with why you served in the military? Do people that are raised by 2 dads or 2 moms feel like they're excluded from serving in the fucking military? It's a total placation to the woke, like, bullshit urbanite on the coastal elites to try to get them to think that the military is like completely, gone woke. Like, that's what basically, this is a marketing director and some consultant that the U.S. Army paid that said, I think this is what you need to do. Some idiot general decided somewhere that this was a great idea.
Yeah.
And instead of getting involved in like woke politics, the U.S. military needs to focus on fucking recruiting people to the best and the brightest people to represent and defend the United States, not how they want to weigh in on racial politics in America, or whether or not you have gay moms or gay dads, or it's this incessant need of the government to weigh in on our sexual organs is fucking weird. The government needs to stay out of like the business of talking about people's fucking sexual organs. Yeah. Like enough. Like they just need to stop. The Pentagon just needs to stop. Well,
first off, like
about fucking sexual organs. They need to stop.
We all know someone very in our inner circle that was raised by two moms. And is she any different? No. Like, does that output anything? Is she a raging fucking feminist? No, not at all. No. Like, no, you would never know. You would never know until she actually brought that into a conversation. It doesn't fucking matter. Number two, I don't know if you saw this, but on Friday, Dan Crenshaw has launched an assault against this.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
And he has started a new website for if you are in the military, you can report any woke bullshit that's going on anonymously to this website, and you are protected. So if your command is doing command influence on forcing you to get the vaccine, if your command is doing fucking crazy EO shit, like taking it way too far, all this stuff, he wants to hear about it, and he's going to essentially go through all of these reports and start attacking it.
Well, because Dan makes a great point, which is the military needs to be capable of fighting and winning wars.
Yeah.
Not whether or not you feel like you're a chick or a dude, or you want to stick your dick in another dude, or whatever the fuck it is. Like the military just needs to stay the fuck out of this. They need to focus on defending the nation.
The CIA made a similar recruiting.
Oh, the CIA, like all these government entities. Now that the Biden and Harris have come in,
it's like, let's suck the tit as much as we can now.
Let's just go 180, or I don't even know if it's 180. I don't even know what this shit is. I don't know anyone who actually believes in this garbage. Nobody believes in this stuff. This is like some loud, extreme section of the United States that's like really Twitter loud, but nobody can really believe in this stuff, right? Like this is like coming from college campuses.
I mean,
once these people start getting out of college and paying bills, they've got to be like, oh wait, I actually can't fucking believe in this bullshit. I hope that. I hope. I don't know.
I did experience that same airport trip I was talking about at the beginning of this show. As I continued sitting there were three women, most likely all lesbians, and they were talking very loud, and they literally, their conversation was...
Did they have like tool belts on? Did they look like they're going to the lumberyard? How do you say that?
The short hair, lots of tattoos, some piercings. Nice. Like you could tell two of them
CrossFitters, Jared.
Two of them were definitely, I think, in a relationship just from the interaction.
Did they have like tennis rackets?
Yeah,
like,
softball.
How are you determining this?
You could tell just by the conversation, and it steered towards, oh my God, have you ever been to Texas? And they're like, no, they're like, everyone in Texas is racist.
Oh,
and this is how the conversation started. They're like, oh my God, you're right. I've heard that. I've been to blah, blah, blah. And my friend said, dude, everybody out there is just so racist. And I'm like, oh my God.
No, I've heard that.
That's confirmation bias in like a little one conversation. That's great.
Actually exist. Oh, but by the way, as they ordered 7 mimosas apiece at 1:00 in the afternoon, and 2 of them took Xanax. This is the conversation they're having about racist Texas. They look like they haven't had protein in a long time. Like they looked real malnourished. Sunken eyeballs, bad sleep, like horrible skin because they're probably on a soy diet. Like
they were talking about their scissoring session.
They probably have bad cycles because they got the vaccine as soon as they could.
This is a comedy show, everybody. Don't get fucking offended. Jesus.
I don't give a fuck if you are offended.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Well, I don't give a fuck,
But everyone in Texas is racist, I literally wanted to turn around and just be like, hey, have any of you guys ever had to pay taxes? Like actually pay them?
No.
Have you ever, No. All right.
Which is funny, right? Because most people that come to Texas, especially in some of these rural areas like we live, what's their takeaway after 2 days? These are the most nicest, welcoming people I've ever met in my entire life. And it's so interesting to see the stigma associated from these, like, to use your statement, like the coastal elites that are like, those dumb hillbilly redneck.
Morgan was talking about with that.
What have you been to fucking Texas? What are you
Morgan was talking about with you yesterday about how in Washington, D.C., like people just open doors and just slam it on you. They don't even look behind you.
Yeah. Like, that's the funny thing. Even tattoos, I've been way more judged for having like hand and neck tattoos, I feel like, in California or like coastal towns compared to Texas. Usually it's like the 85-year-old granny that's like, I love your tattoos, young man. And I'm like, oh yeah, we have this like nice conversation and then go about our fucking days. Pretty simple.
Well, yeah, in Texas, like it just doesn't like make any sense. Like Texas is one of the most diverse states. Like I'm like the only white guy in my neighborhood.
Yeah. I mean, like being a minority is strictly just geographical.
It's so interesting to me because I think that it's like there is something to be said about the term coastal elite, because there is a significant aura around somebody that lives in Seattle, San Francisco, Portland, Los Angeles. Like when you look at this, and they're like, they look down on the rest of the fucking United States
because they're in a bubble.
It's in a bubble. Yeah, you can hear it when you talk to them. Like you can hear it when they're like, "Oh, you live in Utah or whatever. You live in Texas.
Utah.
And you're because I lived in Seattle for a number of years. I'm like, I need to get the fuck out of this place. Like, it was a beautiful city. When I say it is, and it's still probably a beautiful city, by the way. But in the late 90s, you could run around the coast. Like you had badass parks. There's like, mountains are really close. Like it's a fucking badass city. Yeah. There's like tons of great coffee, great food, great sushi. And then something started to shift. And I think mainly it was probably I would say a tech cultural influence. So as that started to kind of move, it started to feel more like San Francisco than it did Seattle. Seattle was actually just a fucking backwater logging town for a long time. It was just this backwater logging
grunge
town.
Music, it had a very good underground music scene.
It had a great underground music scene. It obviously it was the birthplace of grunge. It was not San Francisco light. Then it became San Francisco light. And what happened with this, and I think that this is all mainly coming out of like Silicon Valley. It truly could. This entire bullshit infection that we've caught as a nation, I think could all be coming out of Silicon Valley. Because if you look at where Seattle was in the 90s, where it is today, where San Francisco was in the 80s, then where it is today, I would say San Francisco in the 70s and 80s probably wasn't all that bad. I would say there's like the Haight-Ashbury and the hippie movement, a few of these other things, but we've all been to San Francisco. It's fucking, the weather's nice. Like, it's beautiful. Like when you look across the ocean, like the weather's nice. It's awesome. But I think this cultural infection that we all caught, and not us, but I think it's spreading out of Silicon Valley. I think it's spreading out of the tech industry.
Think about when we visited Facebook headquarters. Remember all of our guides? Everybody was polyamorous and they were telling us about it. It's like they're in this bubble where it's like a cult. It's like someone up top preaches something or writes a book or does a seminar, and then everybody latches on to it, this movement, and it's like has to be included. And then now they're spreading this everywhere. This just weird bullshit.
But maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's a tech industry thing because they've had so much influence over the United States for the last 40 years. Think about it. Like the internet.
Yes. But also like think about
the internet. Like
think about the interaction.
All the big businesses now that have grown in the last 40 years. When you think about investment, venture capital, and the business, like the entire business world, it's basically been redirected, even in the like private equity and finance has been redirected from Silicon Valley because they're like, oh, these are the companies that are going for, high turn dollars. These are the companies that people are investing in. If you think about it, I think a lot of this has to do with the culture and the community centered around Silicon Valley, and they're propagating their ideas through the rest of the United States. Think about it.
Yeah, but
like,
I'm gonna run you on this one. The people that are working for these companies do not have a grasp on real life, because you remember when we were in Facebook, they have an app where a gas truck goes and fills your car up. Yes. You have a hospital, a dentist inside your compound. Your food is free.
They have a vending machine for all your stuff, and you don't have to pay for it.
Yes.
You just go to the vending machine and get power cords and shit.
Power cords, phone chargers, computer chargers, laptops. Everything is coddled to them and taking care of them so they could squeeze 8 solid hours of work. So their concept
but they don't actually work either.
This is the same as on the Google campus, on Facebook campus, on Twitter campus, on Instagram campus. All these companies are following these matrices of hey, let's keep them here as long as possible, focused. And so they have no concept of fucking life.
They have no concept of labor either, because they're so disconnected from the labor industry, from people that actually work with their hands and do things. They're so disconnected from that.
Yeah, and providing the necessary infrastructure for the quality of life, right? So like farmers, the whole nine, right? You just this section of America that you just completely don't understand. Because it's the same thing with the anti-gun conversation. It's like your campus. Well, why would you ever need a pistol? It's like, well, you go through nine security checkpoints to get in here. You live in a tribal bubble, Yeah. And I'm not discrediting it. Like, I went to the Facebook campus and I was fucking blown away. I was like, this is awesome. But I think if you're just so ostracized from reality, you have these preconceived notions of what life is really like and what it takes to live. And they have no clue what it takes to live in Arkansas on a farm. No fucking clue.
Well, it just perpetuates this lifestyle that somebody is going to take care of everything for you, whether that be your workplace or your government.
And this is why you have all of them on your side.
Yeah. And then Evan, your story about your buddy who had to live in one of those Seattle neighborhoods after they instituted the policy of being able to live in your car.
Yeah. Car is domicile.
The car is your domicile. That story just mind-blowing.
Dude, I think it was almost 30% of the people in Austin voted yes on the proposition that said you can camp anywhere. Are you fucking crazy? People that don't own property should not be allowed to vote on these things. If you don't own land, why do you have the option to weigh in your opinion on whether or not someone else can do something on my property?
It's a strange thing. It really is, because when you
doesn't make sense.
When you think about it, that's why a representative government actually works, because democracy, just majority, just pulling true democracy, majority rule, it turns into mob rule eventually, because they're not making strategic decisions. I mean, shit, if it was up for, debate or election, you probably wouldn't have a strategic defense force defending the United States against its long-term, when I say foe, China and Russia are attacking the United States daily with technology.
Thousands of times a day.
A minute. Thousands of times a minute, right? But if it were up to everybody else in the United States, I truly believe this. I think they're so blithely consumed with their own lives, then they are so far removed from what's actually happening internationally. They would vote to just say, well, we all just want to be friends. So we're just going to be cool, and we're not going to have, technology defense. It's fine. We're totally fine. We're just the cool United States, and we're everybody's friend. Right, guys? We're going to be super cool. Like, everybody's equal in the world. So we're just going to zeroize our currency. Let's go with Zimbabwe's. Fuck it. Let's just go with Zimbabwe's economic model because that one fucking works. Maybe Brazil's. Let's just do that. Fuck it. Everybody's equal in ideas, right? Because science is real. Like political science is real. So that means every political ideology is equal. Fuck it. Because science is real, right? Like every political ideology is fucking equal. So let's just do that.
It was an interesting doc I watched last night. Have you guys seen that? It's on Netflix. It's fairly new. Rotten.
Mm-mm.
No, it's like on food, right?
Yeah, but it was fucking cool, man. One of the episodes, you guys would get a kick out of it, and I'll summarize it, but it was about avocados. And they're talking about how the boom of the avocado trade, starting about the 20s and 30s, and how they had to essentially influence American culture to like avocados. And then the boom happened. And then in Chile and in Mexico, but what happened was some of the farms like in Mexico and Chile, they became so profitable based off the export of avocados to the United States, that the United States was driving all this like produce that now cartels and drug cartels became a part of the avocado farms, and they were straight murdering people. They were kidnapping them and saying, "Hey, you're paying me 10% of your, your gross annual on your avocado farm." It's crazy just to see how something so simple as an avocado fruit had so much influence, not only on culture, but more specifically crime. And I'm like, man, you kind of see how things work, when power is given, even on something so nuanced as like a fruit that we enjoy. It's bizarre. Money. You guys should give it. It's like an hour long, but it's interesting. It's not the greatest doc.
Now mirror that with the tech industry, because anytime there's a boom in money,
anything. Yeah.
So that is a great segue.
How are we looking up there, Sergeant Best? On target, on time, boys! Fire for a flip! Here we go! Set! You heard him! Fire for a flip!
For us to tell Logan that he's really awesome for staying in Alaska for an extended period of time to kill his bear. Should we talk about bear on this episode, or should we just?
How long have we been going? We need it.
It's almost.
We need
an hour.
we need a solid hour.
We need a full episode on this before we get
57 or 37.
What are we at?
We need a full.
We're at 40 minutes.
Yeah, we'll do a full episode on it.
We'll do a full episode on. So
once
Logan
we get your footage,
and caught him a bear down there.
Yeah, he did.
Caught him.
He was about
Big
52.
Bear.
Really nice 64-foot yacht.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys. I love San Francisco just the way it is.
Well, it's funny because when you go to Dallas or Houston or San Antonio, all of those cities in Texas, they have a different vibe. You go to Austin. When you go to Austin, Austin's got a totally different vibe too. But there's this really heavy tech presence in Austin, and obviously Austin's way more blue than I think any of the rest of the cities in Texas. Am I right on that?
That's true. Yeah,
yeah. But then Dallas is mainly, what are they? They're like finance and oil, right? Houston and Dallas are like finance and oil.
Yeah, same with Houston, Galveston. That's all oil stuff. Electric energy grid.
Right. Which, do they define the culture in those cities, do you think? There's the petroleum industry for a long time kind of defined the culture in Texas. Mm-hmm. Don't you guys agree? Uh-huh. Like when you thought about Texas, it was like
oil.
That's what you thought about.
Yeah. Random segue. Did you see, I think China, I believe, and this is, you can fact check me on this. They just did the longest world record for the fusion reactor. So it was like 101 seconds, I believe. And it was 6 or 9 times the sun's temperature.
Really?
Yeah. Fusion reactors, they think they're going to have a live one on by like 2035 as like a complete, but it's terrifying. I'm like, well, what happens? Because I guess it's based off of like magnets. You're right, Jared. It's like this magnetic thing that just gets electrons and protons bouncing so much.
9 million degrees. So
yeah, it's like 6
what
times
happens when they fucking
sun's core
fuck that up?
I know, it just burns a hole right through the fucking earth into our core. And just,
it'll be like a thermite grenade that just goes straight through the earth.
That's what we were talking to Matt yesterday about all the different possibilities. Like, could you imagine if when you die, you open your eyes and we're at a different location and all of us are there like, hey, you finally did it.
We're just playing a video game the whole time.
They're like, hey,
see you guys again.
You're back. You don't know? This is the next one. Yeah, we totally couldn't tell you, you know? or if we are like a parasite that has to prep a planet for another race to mine it. Yeah. So like they're bacteria. Like, oh, drop them off there so they can fuck that thing up and get it ready for us to take the core. Like we're just running the program right now until 2300 where we all have a nuclear war and fuck the whole earth up. And then they come back and they're like, all right, now we can take that core. Thanks, guys.
Well, that's why aliens always come and mess around with us anytime we're doing nuclear stuff. Because like, hey, we're coming soon. Can't fuck this up, man. Can't let you explode these things.
Hey.
I don't know. I think if they've really done their work, they're just monitoring, right? These guys are basically just the systems engineers that are stopping by, like going, hey, is everything running okay? Like, are these idiots, have they killed each other yet? Because like this thing's, to Jared's point, they're prepping it. It's like, have they killed each other or eaten all the fish out of the oceans yet? No? Okay. Are they on pace?
They've almost done both, though.
They've almost done pace. They're on pace.
We're almost ready to schedule. This batch is extra stupid. And that's the thing. Or we were talking about, like, again, you have to free yourselves from the constructs that we taught and built ourselves. And when you do that, time being one of them, where, what we think has been 1 billion years has really only been a minute to somebody else. Whereas what if we're, us saying, oh, there has to be intelligent life out there in space. But what if we're at the beginning of the spectrum and we don't know that? We're the first.
Right.
There's a possibility we're the first. Like,
I think with their lack of knowledge as a whole in the cosmos and our understanding of reality, I think anything is possible, honestly.
Well, and that's why I talk about space the way I do, because I'm like, okay, if we were a simulation, how would you define the cage that we have you in? And space is a perfect example. We make it so dangerous and so weird to navigate and so vast that we kind of ignore it. We're like, fuck, I don't want to fuck with that. And we just accept this.
I just think I like to believe in like UFOs, that they're actually like aliens, because it makes the narrative far more interesting than just being like, it's some government thing. But like, maybe like the UFOs that we've spotted or whatever are actual like drones, just how we have the Mars landers, like, can you imagine if like there was like a little like monkey species that had like some form of cognitive dissonance, but they like weren't, couldn't, and they just see this like Mars rover land and they're like, what the fuck is that? Freak you the fuck out. You'd be like, where's this thing coming from? You don't even know there's a world outside of your world. I mean, we didn't know that forever.
No.
We thought it was us and a couple stars.
Well, I like to believe that it's just us in the future and we're just coming back in time to make sure we don't mess all this shit up.
Yeah, there's that possibility.
What was the UFO sighting that happened in Idaho? I want to say it was like in the 60s that the timber guys, one of them got abducted and then he retold this story. It was like fire from the sky.
Fire in the sky. Yeah.
And when he recaps his experience in the UFO craft, there's like, all these little people with big eyes. But then as he works his way through, he's like, and actually gets off, there's just humanoid people there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What if we did a skit around that, Logan, where it's like, one of the guys from Black Rifle has to, go risk his life for the Martians, but the only person that's been abducted is giving us the information, and all they do is anal probe. And then Logan's like, I'll go. I'll be the hero. I will be Space Force Commander #1. Like, man, I'm on it. You might die. Is like, wait, Logan, are you going for the alien butt stuff?
Sacrifices must be made.
Sacrifices must be made.
Listen. It's for CHESTY.
Somebody's got to get anal probed. This one is for CHESTY.
I just applied a coat of Teflon in there. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
You have a
Jared, get over here and pour
anus?
hot wax in my butt. I need to make sure I don't feel anything.
Logan's like, I've been blowing homeless dudes for 3 months in prep for this.
Thank me with a boat oar.
That's not the way it works, Logan. You're getting anal probed.
We do a whole montage of him getting ready to go to the spacecraft. It's like dun 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 dun. He's behind a Mickey D's, just sucking off fucking Bob and his meth friends.
Like, dressed up as a tranny, just getting stuffed like a turkey behind a fucking Circle K.
Yeah, by
Logan,
an XFL
you don't have
team
to do this.
Still in their pads, just in a line.
Brother.
I do. Train how you fight.
Train how you fight. He's just standing outside a bus for a football team.
Yeah.
Complacency kills, guys. Like, but so does unprotected sex, Logan. I wouldn't do that, man. Like, don't let those guys do a train on you.
No,
like, that's
you gotta stay hard, brother.
Yeah, you gotta stay hard.
Did you just mount one of those mountain climbing fake rocks to the back of your head?
See, that's something I always thought about. If I could have any superpower in the world, I think it would be to give anybody an orgasm. So like you have like, a brainwave where I could just troll friends, like walk in the office, like, what's up, Evan? He's I'm like, dude, that's super gay. Super gay, Evan. You just like, came with telepathy.
Oh, gross, JT. Why is yours bright orange? I don't know. It's always been like that.
I got too much blood.
I got too much blood. It mixes with the cum and it turns orange.
Oh.
So we went on this like Semper Fidelis thing when we were bear hunting for a long time. We came up with some really fucking good ones.
Yeah, I think my favorite one was like, somebody needs to fuck this hole in Grandpa's colostomy bag. Semper Fidelis.
Oh my God.
Semper Fidelis. This one's for Chesty. Like, nobody needs to do that.
No,
you're doing that.
What situation are you in where you needed this?
You just open your shirt and it's an EGA. This is why.
Complacency kills. Let's go, brother.
Oh, man.
There's that. So that's a skit that I absolutely want. I want to see this skit from Logan, which is it's called Semper Fidelis, I think, where Logan just does these arbitrary, really disgusting things because this one's for Chesty.
Yeah. No, I think that should be a whole series.
Yeah, I think so. And then you've got to do Fat McNamara, where you're
like he puts on a scuba mask and a snorkel and dives into a septic tank.
Yeah.
Why did he take a snorkel?
Yeah. This hamburger meat has been left out for 26 days. Somebody's got to eat it.
How do you think you improve your gray matter? Semper Fidelis.
Yeah.
God, I love
Somebody's got to toss this old tabby cat's asshole salad. Semper Fidelis. What? Why are you tossing the tabby salad, Logan?
Why are you tossing a cat salad?
This one's for Chesty. This one's for Chesty.
And this week's news, Marine Corps recruiting numbers have gone through the floor. Literally, no one will sign up.
Logan's over there grilling up Wuhan bats for lunch. Yeah. They're like, you don't need to do Semper Fidelis.
I'm not eating these. What do you mean, Logan? These are suppositories, brother.
these are suppository bats.
These bats are going in my butt. This one's for Chesty.
These are
I need to average 6 butt bats a day to stay strong.
You've got a specific box that's just labeled butt bats. We come to your house. What's in that drawer?
Butt bats, colostomy bags, and
this is something Evan would just do in his office just for random, suits that come in for a meeting or butt bats. Yeah. What's in that drawer? You don't want to know.
Sure, you want a Marine on the board? This doesn't sound like such a good idea.
Got to get them butt bats. What's next anyway? So what are we doing next? We've got your what's our next big thing that we got
Tennessee.
going on? Yeah, that's right. Grand opening is in Tennessee
in 4 days.
Yep. 4 days. So you guys are flying out
June 5th.
This will be up after Tennessee.
Oh.
Yeah, this will be up Sunday night.
Okay.
Well, it can be up Thursday, right?
It could, if we wanted
let's just
it to.
do it Thursday.
It looks like we're putting this up Thursday, Matthew Hoffman.
So let's do it before. So grand opening.
He gave double birds, so I don't know if that's a yes or no.
Yeah.
Hey, tell Matt I'll throw a butt bat in him if he doesn't listen.
Oh, man, Matt. You just got threatened. All right. Yeah, Saturday.
This is going to be great. Like Clarksville, Tennessee, that grand opening is going to be super cool. All of us are going to be there.
Yep.
And then
Matt
we got
Best in the flesh.
Yep.
A week after that.
I'm flying a fighter jet over the store.
Well, you're not flying it. But.
I'm definitely going to be flying it. I got my practice flight on Thursday, and then we're flying up to you guys Friday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to call him in on the radio after when Tim Montana's singing the national anthem and give him the go-ahead.
Yep.
Fly by.
We get it right there in the home of the brave.
My buddy, I like to say this because my buddy Chris Jensen, the country music singer.
Chris Jensen, your buddy.
He texted me the other day and was like, this fucking guy, Tim Montana, is awesome. So evidently Tim linked up with this dude somewhere and
probably wrestled him shirtless.
Seriously, I guess they hit it off, and which does not surprise me at all because Chris is fucking hilarious. He does the single best Trump impression I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
It's fucking phenomenal. Like it is phenomenal. And he can go on. He did 15 minutes the other day. Like that dude could go straight in. Like one, he's a super talented country music singer. He writes incredible songs, but the guy could, I'm not even joking around. He could go straight into stand up tomorrow and he would fucking crush it.
That would be awesome.
Because he's hilarious. And I was like, dude, you got to do like you should be doing a concert and then just break straight into fucking stand up for like, do a 5-minute fucking set while you're country. Cause people don't realize that the guy that wrote, what his big one's like, but it buys me a boat. What's it called? What's the fucking song?
Yeah. But I can buy a boat. I can do.
Yeah. Like that guy not only can write music, but he could straight up carry an entire fucking stand-up act. He did 15 minutes when I was in Missouri last month. He did probably 15 minutes and everybody was like doubled over, fucking laughing their asses off. And for that guy, like it's nothing. Like he's like truly a fucking showman. Like talk about a guy that can go from like music to stand-up within the same fucking sequence. Mind blowing.
Well, his live shows are really good too. Not to like, amp him up. But
dude.
He's a fun guy to watch because he's very interactive. He's fun to watch. And that's like Tim. It would make sense that they get along. I think the country music scene is so separated. There's like a lot of like LA artists that just adopted the country music scene culture so they could get famous.
Became the new Christian rock band.
Yeah, a little bit like meaning like I'll just get into this genre not because I care about it, but because it's how I can be successful. But
it'll make me famous faster.
Tim's still a good old boy, dude.
Legit.
He's like driving his motorcycle and then jumps off, chugs some whiskey, gets shirtless, and like let's do jiu-jitsu. And you're like, oh, he's a good old boy. He's crazy. It's fun. It's fun. He lives his life. I love that.
It's the same. Like it's the same with Chris. He's like, hey, I'm in the tree stand. Like I'll text him. He's like, hey, I'm in the tree stand. Like, can I call you back or whatever? I'm like, yeah. The dude's living it, right? He's like, legit. We were talking about that. He was kind of dropping names and telling me like who's actually just fake as fuck in Nashville and who's actually like super legit. Because you're right. A bunch of people came out. They saw it as an opportunity to create a persona, hire some songwriters and make some fucking money. And then there's very few guys that are like actually super legit. So, who I've been listening to a lot is you turned me on to him. It's Paul Cawthon.
Yeah.
Do you say Cawthon, right?
Cawthon, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
He's one of my favorite artists.
Yep.
Yeah, he's incredible, man. Like that guy's incredible. Like we got to try to get that guy on the show. See if he can actually come on the show and fucking talk country music.
I'm sure he would.
Really?
Yeah, we
can
have him out. I think he lives in Austin, maybe outside Austin.
He lives in Texas, so it's like
he lives up north. That guy's freaking awesome. Like I've been on a kick. Like the girls are on Paul. They woke up yesterday. My wife's been in Denver for the past several days, so I've had the girls, which is like, dude, it's so funny because what like there's the girls have a different cadence when they're being watched by me than when they're being watched by mom. I have this horse trough in the backyard. Then I filled it up full of ice. And, so we're going from like sauna to the ice bath and then I've got a fire pit. Like Logan's been exposed to this. He knows, he's seen the backyard of the fucking fire pit and the ice, ice bucket. Yeah.
Yeah. Their desire to start fires is pretty damn incredible.
Like, and they're on it. Like we had, the other day, like Logan was in town because he was passing through on his way from Alaska. And the girls were like starting fires, jumping in the fucking ice bucket, going out, from like the sauna to the ice. And then, so
chasing
I've got
chickens.
This new thing. Yeah, chasing chickens. I've got this new thing where if they want to earn money for stuff, there's only so many chores I can have them do.
Yeah.
So like they can earn money through air squats or through timed ice bucket challenges. So my daughter's like, she's like, hey, my daughter wants a Swiss Army knife. So I told her, I was like, okay, do a minute of 100 air squats in a minute in ice, not all collectively, right? So she can kind of go in and out, right? I'm not like, but she's got to do a full minute collectively. And then 100 air squats. And then she gets to, like, I'm going to take her to like Bass Pro or Cabela's and pick her out a Swiss Army knife because she's like super fucking stoked on this Swiss Army knife. But I'm pumped, man. Like it's interesting because they're a little bit, they're like feral cats around me, right? Like I think like mom keeps them keeps them clean and they're hairbrushed and stuff, and then they're just like not wearing
mine don't own shoes
and they're just dirty and just like it gives me a picture into what my boys would
I have
be like.
I have to say you have to have shoes on to ride the dirt bike. I have to say that multiple times.
Dude, Evan
Put the damn shoes on.
You have to check out Jared's kid Charlotte riding. Was that a sheep?
Oh, I saw it.
Yeah, she's been doing mutton racing.
She comes out going like 15 miles an hour on a sheep, and she's got her helmet on, and
she's
just
got
gets
second place the last 2 weeks in the rodeo.
That is
it is
super
badass,
cool.
dude. It is cool. I mean,
she's got a football helmet on.
Yeah,
riding a sheep.
What?
We just bought
Where
a donkey.
Is this?
It's the Texas rodeo. Hey, ha!
That is so cool, man.
We bought a donkey. It's named Mr. Chuckles. It was named Derek, but Lux changed the name.
Yeah, that's a way better name.
She's, kind of demanding.
So I get a new German wire hair pointer next week.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
you ordered that a while back ago.
Yeah, Geisha. So she's coming next week. So I'll have a brand new German wire hair pointer.
We have a new puppy too, the Banjo. That's the
what? Why don't you have like 10 dogs?
That's the BRV, the Bella replacement vehicle.
Yeah.
Bella's 14 years old. I can't believe she's still walking.
I know. Like 2 years ago, wasn't she given like 2 days to live?
Yeah, they said that she was going to die in a week.
Her tumor is so big, it looks like she's
That's not a tumor.
It has to be.
They cut it off. No, they checked it.
They
checked it. That's just a fat deposit.
Oh.
They cut the tumors off her feet. Now she's fine.
Well, it looks like she's going to tip over. It's so big.
Yeah, she's slowing down, but
I have an important question for you guys since we're talking about dogs. I have to replace my dog has 2 dead canines, and you can pull them, but like I just can't do that to my dog. So gold or silver?
Silver.
For replacement, silver, right?
Remy's a silver.
Yeah,
that would look cool.
Yeah.
She's gonna have 2 silver fangs.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
How did she kill her teeth?
She's a working dog that wants to like I've seen her, if she can't find a stick, like walk up to me with a 9-pound rock in her mouth. And I'm like,
gotcha.
No.
Right.
Yeah. She's a working dog. Like both my dogs are working dogs. They're so high drive and insanely crazy.
We have another new animal, Hazelnut.
Which one?
Oh, yeah. I got to meet Hazelnut.
Yeah, you met a Hazelnut.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's a baby deer.
Oh yeah,
Shut the fuck up.
There's a tiny.
It's a tiny. They're
right
bottle
now.
feeding it.
Yeah, they
Are you
found it.
serious?
Found it dead next to the mom, and so
Yeah.
it's teeny, dude. It was probably 2-3 days after birth. Like that thing was food
And
for
it's pinning to the girls too. Like
yeah.
It wants to be near them. So this thing will hang out in our yard for its life.
So it looks like I've got to bring the girls down there and hang out for a few days.
The new property is awesome.
Sounds like it's super, super fun. It sounds like a playground for children and animals. And now, you haven't had a drink for what, 2 weeks?
Over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, gross. Oh, I got to tell you guys.
18 days.
I came across coyote pups at the ranch yesterday.
Oh, damn.
What?
Yeah.
How?
So I was,
Why were you at the ranch yesterday?
I was doing my memorial hike and,
Yeah.
I had the pups out there and it was towards the end. It was, you guys know that little watering hole that's kind of cuts through the middle of the property?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden Mako's like on this big giant rock. And I'm like, that's strange. Like, because usually when he's pointing on birds, he's like, kind of just straight horizontal. And he was like down at this. And I walk over and like 2 coyote pups are sticking their heads out of this.
Okay, coyote pups. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't know we had wolves in Texas.
Oh no, yeah, coyote pups. They were like the size of small potatoes. I was like,
really?
Oh.
Did you see them? Did you grab them?
No, they sucked back up underneath the rock, and I was like, I could probably get them out of here, but I couldn't.
You just had a pet coyote. It'd be sweet.
That would be pretty cool to have 2 pet coyotes.
Yeah. I would. I mean, that would be pretty badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd call one Razor.
Razor.
What? If you have a coyote, I'd name it Razor.
Yeah, Razor's a good coyote name.
Razor and Talon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Razor and Fang.
Yeah.
I like how the last episode, did you read those comments? Because people thought you had bear ears.
Yeah,
on the last, because you were right behind the space bear like that.
I almost said something to him about that. I was like, it looks like you're wearing a bear head.
Dude. Yeah, it's so funny. Like I every now and again, like I'll read the comments, especially like right after we post, and somebody posted some stupid comment, and I responded like, "Nobody gives a fuck, retard," or something like that. Like
this still
like,
Kyle Rittenhouse didn't do nothing wrong. Yeah,
like,
great.
All
dude.
right, yeah, okay.
Right. You really won this time.
You guys won, YouTube. Let's pull our content down. Let's fold up the chalks. Time to go be a coder. Might as well
learn to code.
Learn to code now, guys. It's all over. Let's roll it up. You guys won, YouTube. Some 14-year-old kid in like Brazil. I'm headed up to do a podcast with Andy Stumpf tomorrow.
Dude, I saw the interim drawings of his new facility. It looks amazing.
Yeah, so Andy and I are going to jump on a show tomorrow. We've got, we'll do another Core 4, obviously, next week. I have a couple really fucking good guests that are coming in over the next few months. So pretty excited. We got some good shows. We got some good shows coming out.
Oh yeah. We've got a vlog coming up where we did a crawfish boil with Crispy, and then me and Jericho went to the Texas Drift Academy to learn how to drift.
Shut up.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Where is that at?
It's in Marion, Texas. It's less than 50 minutes from here.
That is super
that doesn't
cool.
Sound fun at all.
It's ran by an Australian guy that used to be a Formula One drift dude. And you show up and they've got the course. They teach you it's really cool because again, our first day with Rally, learning kind of controlling the car with the brakes and how you transfer weight, and then going to this and learning how to literally control the car with nothing but the throttle and what you're doing. It just makes you an all around better driver, safer, to get yourself out of bad situations where you feel like you lose control.
So speaking of race car driving, I read Eli's post the other day. He used to race cars.
He used to race carts.
Carts?
Yeah.
I thought he used to race cars.
I think he did
bit
some
of everything.
Miata circuits, after his car.
He was like a world record holder in what's that game? It's the
iRacing.
iRacing video.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, he's the world record holder. Yeah,
dude, I didn't know that
for a little bit.
But it was weird. So I was like swiping through it, and there's just some random photo of a chick. I'm like,
that's him. That's him. I think he took a photo of like someone made it and sent it into him, like of me and him, and it was like he was just trolling people of like what our kid would look. I think that was a mesh of me or something. I saw the same thing. I'm like, there was no context to that.
There's no context.
Yeah, zero context.
I was like,
there's that app where you can take like your face, Evan, and mine, and then see what the kids would look like.
Oh,
yeah,
that's called.
So now he's fantasizing about what your kids would look like. This is we're really progressing here, Matt.
No, I think Batty made that. Or Donut did one of all of us on his Instagram.
That is just Eli. Is Eli?
It might just be a female. It might be just a female Eli. I know Donut.
It's just a female Eli.
Yeah, they keep claiming that it looks like Morgan.
I don't like.
Yeah, it kind of does look.
Will
like
you
Morgan.
stop it? Stop it.
So your girlfriend is female Eli.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh God.
Interesting.
I've got the sick.
I thought it was Morgan.
Up. Oh, that's right. You do. That's fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's middle of June. Somewhere in Wyoming.
Somewhere in Wyoming.
There's we're getting the new cross rifles with the new Bino range finding system that integrates into the scope. Pretty cool. Shooting 6.5. Gonna be doing like
cool.
10 courses over the course of like 8 miles. There's a bunch of movement involved in it too.
Well, I have a special gift for everybody on the hunt coming.
Uh-oh.
It goes pew.
Yay.
I
want to see this STI, the Christmas STI.
They're there. They're in Texas.
They're here?
Yeah, they're with Kevin. Kevin's had them.
Oh.
But yeah, I got to swing by his place and grab
He was just at my house. I didn't know. Damn it.
So, well, let's put a capstone on this thing. Let's sign us off, Logan, and tell us what's happening next in Logan's life.
I don't know what is.
I'm just joking. I'm just saying. Thank you for tuning in to Free Range American. We are going to be back with another Core 4, just talking about our bear hunt. Hopefully that will be the next Core 4. So we'll get into it.
Awesome. We should do it from the coffee shop in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Can we bring our shit and do it?
We can.
Is it going to be too loud?
It's going to be too loud and way too many people. Good in theory.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. We'll do it next week in between.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
See you guys.
Okay. See ya.
Later, guys.